Now give the heading 1.5 types of efficiencies, and below that you can write refer PN, refer printed notes. So this entire topic is there in your printed notes over here as question number 8. Now the beginning of this topic is simple, but after some time some concepts will be little difficult, so please be attentive right from the beginning. Now what exactly we are going to study in this topic? So let's say there is an algorithm whose efficiency is big O of n. Now what we can do is, instead of saying that the efficiency is big O of n, we can say that the efficiency of this algorithm is quadratic. So what we are doing over here is we are simply giving a name to the efficiency. Instead of saying that it is big of n square, we are saying it is quadratic. So whether you say big of n square or whether you say quadratic, it is one and the same. So we just gave a name to the efficiency. Instead of saying n square, we said quadratic. So now we have a table over here. On the left column of the table, you will see some most common big O notations. And on the right side, you will see the corresponding names which we give to the efficiency. So if there is an algorithm which is big O of log n, then we can say that this algorithm is logarithmic. Now going that way, if it is big O of n, we'll say it is, take a guess, linear. If it is big O of n log n, we'll say it is linear logarithmic. Big O of n square, quadratic. Big O of n raised to k. Now over here, one thing which you should notice is that is k is a constant and the value of k is greater than 2. I repeat, k is a constant and value of k is greater than 2. So if it is big O of n raised to k, then it is polynomial. Then we have big O of c raised to n. Once again over here, many students get confused between n raised to k and c raised to n. When we write c raised to n, this c is a constant. Okay, n is not a constant, c is a constant. And in this case, we say that the efficiency is exponential. Finally, we have big O of n factorial, and then we say that the efficiency is factorial. So basically in this table, you have not studied anything difficult. You have simply studied some names which we give to the efficiencies depending on the big O notation. Now, the next thing which I'm going to teach you is little difficult. It is interesting. And at the end of it, I'll ask you a question. If you answer the question correctly, that means you have understood this table. Okay. And there's something very important about this table. So please be attentive. Keep listening. Now, what I will do over here is I will draw a graph. Sorry. What I will do over here is I'll draw a graph and okay. Now, as usual, the graph will have the y and the x axis. So this is the y axis and this is the x axis. On the x axis, you will have n. Okay, n is nothing but the size of the instance, the number of elements with which the algorithm deals. And over here on the y axis, you have execution time. Okay, on the y axis, you'll have execution time. Now, if I want to draw a graph for a logarithmic algorithm, that means if an algorithm is logarithmic, then its graph will look something like this. Its graph will look something like this. Okay. Or one minute, I'll just draw it once again. I'll just, okay, just a second. Okay, so what I was saying is that if the graph is logarithmic, if the algorithm is logarithmic, its graph will look somewhat like this. Yes, now I have drawn it correctly. So this is the graph for the logarithmic algorithm. Now, what you should understand from this graph is that, see, when n is very small, the amount of time which it takes, the amount of execution time rises proportionately with n. But as n becomes larger and larger, see this where my pen is moving, okay? As n becomes larger and larger, the graph has become almost parallel to the x-axis. That means if the graph has become almost parallel with the x-axis, it means that when n is very large, the difference in the time from year to year is negligible. or I will say this way, that when n is very large, the time taken by this algorithm becomes almost a constant. It will not vary significantly. Now, if you did not understand what I said just now, no problem. I'll come back to it after some time. Just remember one thing, that if the algorithm is logarithmic, then at very large values of n, the graph will become almost parallel to the x-axis. Okay. And this has a very big meaning, which I'll tell you in some time. Now I will plot a graph of linear. So how the graph of linear will look like? Very simple. The graph of linear will be a straight line at an angle of 45 degrees with the x and the y axis. Okay. So this is the graph of linear. Okay. This is at an angle of 45 degrees with the x and the y axis. Now this is the graph of linear logarithmic. Now I'll draw the graph of linear logarithmic. Because I'm drawing on my writing pad, I may not be able to draw it nicely, but still you'll get an idea. So this is the graph of linear logarithmic. Now answer a simple question. Is the graph of n log n intersecting the graph of n? Yes, it is. So now what does that mean? So let's understand that. Now this intersection point, what I will do is I will bring this intersection point on the x-axis. All right. And let's say I call it n1. Let's say I call it n1. n1 is some value of n. Now what happens is, if you see carefully, from here, okay, look at this, from here, from the origin till here, the graph of linear logarithmic is below linear. I repeat, from 0, 0 till n1, the graph of linear logarithmic is below linear, which means in this interval, the time taken by linear logarithmic is lesser than linear. But as the value of n increases, that means from here onwards, see where my pen is moving, from here onwards, from here till infinity, the graph of linear logarithmic is above linear, which means it will take more time than linear. So now if somebody is asking you, okay, if somebody is asking you that linear logarithmic takes more time or takes less time than linear, and you are supposed to give only one answer, then what will you say? You will say that linear logarithmic takes more time than linear. Why? Because whenever we give our answers in AOA, these answers are based on very large values of n. So when n increases, when n is very large, then linear logarithmic takes more time than linear. Okay. So as a general rule, as a thumb rule, we will say that n log n takes more time than n. Okay. Now after that, all the remaining algorithms, they are more and more inclined towards y-axis. So this will be the graph, of quadratic. Okay. Then this will be the graph of polynomial. They get more and more inclined towards the y-axis. Then this is the graph of exponential. All right, c raised to n. And finally, you have the graph of factorial, which is almost parallel to the y-axis. This way. This is the graph of factorial, almost parallel to the y-axis. Okay. All right. Now, one thing you have seen, that when we went from logarithmic to factorial, the graphs became more and more inclined towards the y-axis. Okay. Now let's come back to this log n, and there is something which I told you about it being parallel to the y-axis. Now we'll explore that in more detail. Now let me just change the color. Okay, so let me use this. Okay. Now listen to the next thing very carefully. I have an interesting question for you. Now let me plot 2 points over here. This one point, all right, and this another point. I'll call them x. And okay, or instead of giving the name x, I'll call them, let's say I'll call them m, and I'll call them q. Okay, so there are 2 points m and q. Now m and q are 2 points on the graph, so obviously m will have some x and y coordinate, and q will also have some x and y coordinates. Now listen to me very carefully. Okay. Now the difference between x coordinate of m and x coordinate of q is quite substantial. So what I'm trying to tell you is the difference between x coordinate of m, that is m dot x, okay, and the x coordinate of q. This difference is quite substantial, okay, it is quite significant. Now you answer a question, the difference between y coordinate of m and y coordinate of q, it is substantial or negligible. That means I am talking about this difference, m dot y, the y coordinate of m, and q dot y, that is the y coordinate of q. This difference is substantial or negligible. The answer is very simple, the difference is negligible. Now, if you know how to read graphs, then can you derive a conclusion from this, what I wrote just now in green color? See, the conclusion is, listen to me carefully, the conclusion is that although the value of n, by the way, please realize the on the x-axis you have n is the number of elements on which the algorithm works, and on the y-axis we have execution time. So now what is the meaning of all this which I wrote in green color? So it means that although the value of n increases significantly from year to year, although the value of n, although the number of elements increases significantly from year to year, the corresponding increase in execution time is negligible. So now tell me one thing, what I said just now about this graph, about this green color, once again I'll repeat, although the increase in number of elements from year to year is significant, the corresponding increase in execution time is negligible. Now this property, this trait, this feature is desirable or undesirable? It is desirable. See what is happening over here, if you pay a little attention, you will realize that although the value of n is increasing, see where my pen is moving, look at a small dot. See, as the what is happening over here, that although the value of n is increasing, but a corresponding increase in execution time is very small. So this is a very desirable property, okay. And this is something, the property of the logarithmic algorithm. So what happens, after some time the logarithmic algorithm becomes almost parallel to the x-axis, and if it is parallel to the x-axis, it means that after some time the execution time of the logarithmic algorithm will become a constant. So no matter how much n increases, no matter how much n increases, the corresponding increase in execution time will become the corresponding increase in the execution time will be negligible, and this is something which we want. Now if you still didn't understand, let's take this n factorial graph. Look at this point, okay, look at my point. Let's take this n factorial graph. Now let me plot 2 points over here. Let's say A and B. Come on, now very simple. Tell me the difference between the x coordinate of A and x coordinate of B. I repeat, the difference between x coordinate of A and x coordinate of B. The difference is significant or negligible? Negligible. But the difference between y coordinate of A and y coordinate of B is significant. So what this means is, it means that although the value of n, remember on the x-axis we have n, so although the value of n increases negligibly from B to A, although the value of n increases negligibly from B to A, the corresponding increase in execution time is very significant. So if I would be standing in front of you, I would have shown you with my hand gestures, but unfortunately I'm not in front of you. So just look at this pen. I will say this way. See the increase in, look over here, look at this, look near this heading, 1.5 types of efficiencies. You can see a green dot. I'll show you over here. So what this means is, this means that the increase in the value of n is this much, is just this much, but a corresponding increase in execution time is this much, something like this, okay. So now this is a desirable property or undesirable property? The answer is undesirable. Why? Because overall what will happen is that even if you increase n by 1 or 2 units, the corresponding increase in execution time will be phenomenal, and this is not something which is desired. So now, guys, if you are listening to all this carefully, we draw a very important conclusion over here, and that conclusion is that just a minute, let me change the pointer. That conclusion is that all these algorithms which are listed over here, logarithmic, linear logarithmic, they are listed in decreasing order of efficiency. What I mean is that logarithmic algorithm is the most efficient algorithm and factorial algorithm is the least efficient algorithm, and that is something which is denoted by this arrow. This downward pointing arrow shows decreasing efficiency. In other words, for a particular value of n, I repeat, for a particular value of n, logarithmic algorithm will take least time and factorial algorithm will take maximum time. And you need to remember this table, you need to by heart this table, because this table will be used in many exercise questions also. Okay, now what you do is you draw this table, listen to me carefully, you draw this table, this arrow, this red arrow, this table, and this graph on your printed notes. But when you're drawing this graph in your printed notes, you do not copy this green color. Whatever you see in green color over here, that was only for explanation. If you want, you copy. Even if you don't copy, it's okay. All right. So all these things which you see over here, don't forget to draw this arrow. Okay. And over here, when you draw this arrow, what you can do is you can also write over here. You can also write. I'm sorry. When you're drawing this arrow, what you can do is over here you can write decreasing efficiency. Okay, so all these things you will draw in your printed notes over here. By the way, the table is already there, so just draw the arrow on the left side, write decreasing efficiency, and then draw the graph over here. Okay, so pause the video and do that.